we're covering one of my favorite parts of this chapter. We're going to look at latitude and longitude. So we get to look at global positioning. So we'll be looking at globes and atlases, and we get to identify cities and countries, giving their latitude and their longitude. And then we're going to take that information and we're going to relate terms on a sphere, since we studied spheres in the previous lesson, and we relate them to global positioning, looking at latitude and longitude. So here's our sphere, and we could think of it as a globe. And then we have the equator, which is like a great circle going horizontally. And then we have the prime meridian. And then, of course, there's Greenwich, England, that is on the prime meridian there. So the international date line would be located here. Okay, so that's all the positions of the globe that you need to know. So the globe is divided up into different sections. So you have the northern hemisphere, which is north of the equator. You have the southern hemisphere, which is south of the equator. You have the eastern hemisphere, which is east of the prime meridian. Then you have the western hemisphere, which is west of the prime meridian. So longitudinal lines go from north to south, and longitudinal lines are all going to be great circles, which means that they're all congruent, and which means that they all go completely around the sphere. Right, and that means that they all include the center of the sphere in them. Then we have latitude lines, which run east to west, and you'll notice that the latitude lines, as they get closer to the poles, gets the smaller and smaller and smaller circles. Therefore, and then they get bigger as they get closer to the equator, right? And so that means that not all latitude lines are congruent. And it also means that the only latitudinal line that's a great circle would be the equator, because that's the only one that's going to contain the center of the sphere. All right, so latitude is actually the degree of the arc from the equator to a particular location on a globe. And then longitude is measured from the prime meridian east or west, and it's the degree measure east or west of the prime meridian. So here we go, we're looking at the prime meridian. So if you would go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you would go so on, like you would count, and or you would go west of the prime meridian, and so you would count, and then south of the equator, so you would go, it's 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree, and then so on. All right, this is all for this lesson, and I look forward to looking at some problems and positioning things on globes and atlases using longitude and latitude.